Alrighty, everybody, this is going to be me breaking down my strategy for you guys and kind of like how I take my trades, entries, daily bias, all that good stuff, as well as kind of a breakdown for this week of March 22nd, 2026. So, let's just jump right into it. The first thing we're going to do is actually go here to Forex Factory and we're going to look at the news for the week. So, Monday, no news. Tuesday, we have news. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, something. Friday, nothing. What does that actually mean? To me, this is telling me that at 9:45 we're going to have some influx of volatility in the market. So that means at 9:45 a.m. New York time, we expect to say, "Hey, we're going to have some move either up or down, maybe consolidation. Maybe it'll consolidate big time, but it's just the end of the day, it just means that at these times we expect the market to do something. Generally not consolidation. So it's usually a big wick. So that's when you guys have your big candles, all that type of stuff. So it's super important to know what times those come out so you're not in a trade before then, or if you're in a trade, you can close it before it comes out just so you don't lose anything crazy. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing that I do is it's called multi-time frame analysis. So what does that mean? You're analyzing the same stock on multiple time frames, top-down views. So you're going to start on the higher time frames. You could start on like the weekly or the monthly. Am I going to do that? No way. I'm going to start on the daily max. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at what is the daily done last week, what is it going to do this, like what is that going to affect this week? So last week we were bearish and we came into this low here, as you can see here, this sell side liquidity from March 9th, so about 2 weeks ago. And we swept the liquidity here on the daily time frame. Now, if you guys trade ICT, you guys know this stuff. You already know when you sweep liquidity, that means you expect price to move in the opposite direction. So if we take sell side, we expect to move towards buy side, which means we're going to move up. If we take buy side or at the high here, we expect price to move lower. That's just how it works. So going into this week, you guys can already start seeing my bias forming. Oh, okay, so AD Trades is telling me that it's going to go up. Yes and no. There's also more things that are going to be at play here, but let's move on to the 4 hour. So now that the daily happened, again, there's not really much else. There's no fair value gaps. There's not really any move here. We could also look at ES really quickly. If there's any form of SMT at the lows, which there appears to be. Let me double check. Nope. Okay. No lows that are differentiated. No SMT. That's pretty much all we expect to see for now. All right, so that's pretty much the daily chart. Then we'll move on to the 4 hour here. The 4 hour is the same exact thing, right? But we're gonna start breaking it down further. This is where we start having our PD arrays, all that type of stuff, kind of coming into the play here. So the 4 hour again, we do the same thing. All right, we took the same low, yes, but now what do we have difference between this and the daily chart? Is we have like fair value gaps to work with. This is where you guys are gonna see me mark out most of my high time frame fair value gaps, most of my, you guys know, the areas that I mark out on my chart. But before I actually get to that, there's another thing that I do, which is I'll mark out the sessions, the cycles, whatever they're called. Some people call it quarterly theories, some people call it cycles, 90-minute cycles. Doesn't really matter. We don't care about what it's called, we just care about what it means. So it's the easiest way to explain it is to go down to a lower time frame, and I have this little indicator Claude AI made for me, session quarters. Easiest way is to label out session quarters. So everyone knows the sessions, right? Oh, hold up. Let me really quickly do this because the indicator sucks. So what happens when you use AI? So ignore everything else and only look at these 4 sessions. So I'm going to make the white line so where you guys should be looking. So within this little box I made here, okay, this is the 4 sessions that we trade, right? London, Asia, New York AM, and then New York PM. So within this box is where we're looking. Q1, what does Q1 do, or AKA what does London session or Asia session do? Asia session is the first one of the day, right? It opens right when the futures open back up from their hourly break, right? It closes. When it opens back up, Asia session starts and it runs till midnight. What does Asia session typically do, guys? Nothing. It consolidates. That's just what Asia does. It just consolidates. It doesn't really do anything. We don't expect it to really do anything. All right, that's just how the Q1 works. What is Q2? London session. Now, what does London session typically do? Again, it also doesn't move as much, but now is where we start to see movement. We start to see highs and lows getting taken. Now, typically, not always, but typically, we will expect it to manipulate, which means it's going to go in the opposite direction that New York goes. Obviously, in this case, it still went lower, but you guys understand what I'm saying? This is where we start seeing highs getting taken. To an extent, it still did the opposite manipulation, where it took its own high here. But usually it'll take Asia high. But point is, Q2 is always going to do the opposite move of what New York does, right? So London session, if you're biased long for New York, London session is going to go short. That's just kind of how it works, right? Q1, Q2, Q3. Now we're in New York AM session, which AM session we expect it to distribute in the direction we want. So let's say that on the daily chart I'm biased long, then we expect the New York AM session to be where we see the majority of that move come from. And then the PM session is the same thing, Q4. It's going to be a continuation or reversal. That is the easiest way to explain quarterly theory slash cycles, whatever. It doesn't really matter what it's called. All it is that Q1 is going to consolidate, Q2 is going to manipulate, Q3 is going to distribute, and then Q4 is going to reverse or continuation. So now if we get rid of this indicator here and move these drawings, we can also apply that to the week. We can apply that to the entirety of the week move. What does that mean? 80 trades, you're yapping. All right, let me simplify it. Monday, let's call Monday Q1. First day of the week. Tuesday, Q2. You guys following me? Q2. Wednesday, Q3. You guys, oh, I get it now, AD. So what you're telling me is that the days are going to function just like the sessions. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. So think of Monday as Asia session. Asia session, again, does it really do anything? Not really. You still take some trades. You can still take trades. So for example, I'm still biased long, so I'd still look for some longs in the consolidation. But are we going to be setting our TPs all the way up to, Tuesday, Monday, Friday, whatever highs over here? Absolutely not, because you don't expect Monday to move, because it's supposed to be the consolidation day. Tuesday, if you think it's going to go long overall, are you going to go long during the manipulation day when you expect it to go lower? Absolutely not. So this is how you guys start building your daily bias. This is how you guys start kind of functioning throughout the week. So this applies to a lot of different things, but most importantly, this is how I would structure it, right? So, for example, I think we're going to continue lower, right? My bias is bearish. Obviously, I want to see a retracement, but I don't think we're going to retrace much further. So how would I structure my week if I'm biased bearish? If I'm biased bearish, what does that mean? We're going to have consolidation on Monday. Pretty typical stuff. Tuesday, we're expecting us to go manipulate in the opposite direction of the move, which is short. If we're thinking we're going to go short, then Tuesday has to be, or is usually going to be the day that it's going to come back up and take out all the buy side. And then Wednesday is going to be the day. Wednesday is going to be the day that we distribute lower. Oh, it's clicking now. Okay, so that's how 80 Trades picks out his trades. So if we apply that to this week, this is literally exactly what I'm expecting this week. Is it perfect? No. Is it going to always be right? No. But this is how you guys start aligning things for your trades. Again, my bias could be wrong. If we're going to go upwards, then Tuesday is not going to do what I expect, and I'm going to lose my trade. But then that affects my bias for the rest of the week. For example, if Tuesday starts looking like this, then Wednesday is going to start looking like this. You guys understand what I'm saying? So if it doesn't align with my bias, it just confirms the other side is right, that I was supposed to go the other direction, and now the next day you can trade that proper direction. You guys understand what I'm saying? And that kind of comes with time, but that's besides the point. So what am I expecting this week? Monday. Not really going to do anything. Am I going to take some trades depending on how the new week opening gap is looking when I get back on in New York? Absolutely. If I'm biased here, Tuesday, what am I expecting then? Manipulation. Oh, he's going to look for longs on Tuesday, and then he's going to look for shorts on Wednesday, and then Thursday, probably continuation leg. I don't expect us to reverse for out of nowhere unless there's some sort of low or something I'm missing. Then I don't expect it to be a reversal Thursday. This is probably going to be a continuation Thursday, and then Friday is its own special day. It retraces a certain amount of the week back into the range. So if we're going down all week, we expect Friday to go up a little bit, just a little bit, 20-30% of the weekly range, which actually last week it literally did the exact same thing, where the whole week we were going down. Since Wednesday, oh my gosh, 80 trades. This is a perfect example. Why have you not mentioned it? I don't know. I'm brain dead. So Q1 of last week, I literally could have just gone over last week's price action and I could have explained it much better. Monday, this was Monday, right? Wait, Tuesday, here. Monday, here. Monday. Didn't really do anything. It did take this high. Again, within consolidation, you can still take trades. You could still take a trade to this high or whatever, right? But New York time, if you guys look when New York opened, didn't really do anything. Okay. Q1 was this. What did Q2 do, aka Tuesday? from here to here. Again, it moved in the opposite direction of what Wednesday did. Wednesday still went up just a wee little bit right here. But what was the main move that Wednesday just did? Oh, distribution. Again, it's not going to be perfect like my example. It's never going to look like this clean. Obviously, in this one, doesn't look quite as clean, but you guys get the idea, the message of what I'm trying to say. Manipulation, distribution, and then Thursday, again, where's Thursday? It's right around here. This was just another continuation leg. Oh, the quarters are coming together. The pieces are coming together. That's literally all I trade. That's how I trade. So now, you guys know kind of roughly what I want to see this week. All right, 80 trades, we get it. We know your daily bias. We know how you pick out your trades for the day. Now, what is your entry model? How do I pick out the entries themselves? Don't worry, I got you guys. So for Monday, how I pick my entries looks a little bit different than most of my days. So my draw on liquidity for Mondays is actually the new week opening gap. So I'll go onto here, and I'll look at the gap that we made between Friday and Sunday of the week, which is this huge big gap. And now we've already started filling it in. We usually will. So all that's left that's unfilled is this area here. So what do I expect Monday to do? Monday really doesn't do much. So I only expect it to cover just the gap that it made between this week and last week. And that's it. So if I was taking the trade tomorrow and the gap is above us, then more than likely I would look for some sort of long. And that's it. Now, what's the entry model, 80? We get it. 80, I'm calling myself. Whatever, you guys know what I mean. Internal low. So external low has to get taken, and then an internal low has to get taken first. Okay, what's an external and an internal low? External low is high time frame liquidity, which right here on the 4-hour daily, we already did that. Perfect. Makes sense. We get it. Now, what is internal low? Internal liquidity is the smaller time frames. So the 5-minute, the 15, the 3, the 1, all that. You just mark out a low, whatever low gets taken. Obviously, there's specific lows I'll target occasionally. That just comes with time, which ones I know is kind of going to be the one. In this instance, it's Asia. I never trade Asia, so I don't know. But let's say it's this low right here. Now, we've taken this low. That's the internal manipulation leg, which means that everybody that was trading intraday, all the people that are trading day traders like us, just got stopped out. Anyone that was going long just got stopped out. Perfect. Orders are going to get filled. That means we're going to finally start moving in the direction that we want to see, right? If I'm biased long. And again, this drawn liquidity came from where? The quarterly theory, the session cycles, whatever you call it, of the week. Perfect. So now we have oops, smashed my table. So now we have this low that was taken. All right, what do I want to see specifically? More than just this low, I want to see something called SMT. If you guys know, you know. What is SMT? It is when NQ, let's say NQ takes this low and ES doesn't. Same low, right? Exact same low at this time. But ES doesn't take it. That's SMT, that's manipulation, that's a good thing. In our case, this is a good thing. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. So that's a good thing. That's what we want to see. Now, what else do we want to see? Within this SMT, there's actually another concept called sequential SMT, which means it's SMT between quarters. So this is where we bring back the quarterly theory stuff again. I know, I'm going to bring it up the whole video because that's literally like 90% of what I trade. So we're going to go here. Let's say this is Q1 Asia session. So let's say this is an Asia session low. London session opens, and we take this low. But again, same Asia session low. But now London didn't take the same low. Now we have SMT not only between just the lows, right? But now we have SMT between quarters, between these different sessions. Oh, now this is a more powerful version of SMT because now you have time and price aligning, which if you trade ICT is literally all ICT is about, is time and price aligning. Perfect. We get it. So you want to see SMT not only between the lows, but also between time zones. So let's say, again, this is the Asia low. London comes and takes the Asia low, but ES doesn't. It doesn't take the same low. Now that's called sequential SMT, which is time, like between time. Perfect. So now we have the liquidity sweep, which was the internal low, plus the SSMT, or the sequential SMT. Now what? Now I want to see displacement through a wick, like for example, this candle's right here, or through a fair value gap. Usually both. Usually you want to see both, though. So what is displacement? What does displacement look like? It's literally just one big candle. 1 or 2, 3, whatever, big candles. Big candles moving in the direction and bodies closing above this candle. So I should see a big green body if I'm long. Huge candle above the wick. Perfect. That's telling me that we're ready to move upwards. The market's moving orders perfectly how you wanted to do it. Now, depending on how it displaces, sometimes it'll displace past the fair value gap and make an inversion fair value gap. And that's when I'll typically do like a market order and I'll just go straight in. I won't even wait for a retracement leg. Because if it's displacing that like strongly, we might not get a retracement leg. Now, if it's just a normal displacement and it doesn't really make an inverse, it just goes it still goes up, but it doesn't quite do it as strong, then I'll wait for some sort of normal fair value gap entry here. So there'll be a fair value gap enter long, and it'll be a little bit better in terms of risk, but that's literally it. And this applies for everything. So again, the next day, if I'm going short, if I have a bias going short and it was the other way, again, we have highs. It'll work with the highs, right? So you'd have Asia session highs, London takes a high, but ES doesn't. That's the sequential SMT, blah, 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 through a low. Same exact thing. It applies vice versa. And that's literally it. There's also, I do trade a continuation model as well, which means that, okay, we're already moving in the direction that we expect. When do you want to take it? And usually that one is a lot simpler, which is just, I'll use the fib tool. That's when I start using my fib tool, and that's when I start marking out where's equilibrium, where's premium, discount. That's when I want it to come into 0.5% of the range or whatever. Sometimes I'll even do OTE, et cetera, et cetera. That's when I start using the fib tools mostly. But again, continuation models are a little bit more, I guess, easy to understand because it's already going lower. If it aligns with your bias, so if I woke up and it's already moving higher and it already did the whole internal low displacement during London or Asia overnight or whatever, then I don't have to want to do it again during New York. Sometimes I will, but not always. And if that's the case, all you have to do is just pick a nice fair value gap that makes sense, like a premium or discount, and just enter your trade there. And that's pretty much it. Same with the reversal trades. If you want to take a reversal, when are you going to take the reversal? You're going to take the reversal after the manipulation, after Q2 has already done what Q2 just did. You guys understand what I'm saying? So like, let's say, where was the day example I just had? So if you wanted to trade a reversal last week, remember I had, hold up. Right, Q1, it's going to look messy, but I don't like drawing. So Q1, Q2. Are you going to take a reversal trade in Q1? Absolutely not, because it's consolidating. Are you going to take the reversal trade in Q2? No, we're still manipulating. Are you going to wait till Q3 happens, and after we take internal highs or internal lows or whatever it is? Yes, that's when you're going to take your reversal trade, which you would have waited till internal manipulation happens. Again, I don't know if this trade was actually a good trade or not. You'd have to look at ES. Oh, there's no SMT here, but there's SMT here. Blah, 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 blah. And then that's when you take your trade. And that's literally all it is. And then a continuation leg on Thursday. So if we're like, hey, Thursday, are we going to continue lower or not? Yes, but let's wait for the same thing. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. That's literally all I trade. And there's a lot of things. There's more things I haven't mentioned that I stack. And you just have to join the live streams to see that. But there's just a lot of little things like that just stack, that just stack, that just stack. More and more and more until there's also 90-minute cycles, which within the session cycles, there's cycles within the cycle. It's cycleception, all right? It's too much. Too much. You can't drop everything. I'm just kidding. I drop everything, but you're going to have to ask me on the live so I can show you live. But that's literally my entire strategy right there. Let's see the video length. In a nice under 20-minute video. Pretty dope. So that's literally my whole strategy, like in a nutshell. Let me see. Is anyone in the Discord in the call? If anyone has a question, just type it right now. If not, that's pretty much my strategy. I don't really think I can mention anything else I want to mention. Like I said, SMT, SSMT is huge. You need that. You need to understand quarterly theory. There's also AMD, which is pretty much the exact same thing that I just mentioned, which is there's going to be a consolidation move, there's going to be the manipulation move, and then there's going to be the distribution move. That's AMD setup. So if I say AMD power of 3, it's the exact same thing. I'm writing a trading terms dictionary that explains all of this is the exact same thing. So everyone says different terms. Oh, I trade AMD, or I trade power of 3. I trade quarterly theory. It's all the exact same thing. All of this is the exact same thing. So you guys will hear me say that. But yeah, I think that's everything for the video. Alrighty. That's literally my whole strategy, just in a nutshell. So tomorrow I will be live trading 10 a.m. You guys should know exactly what AD Trades is looking for. You don't even have to ask me. You can say, You don't have to ask 80 trades, what are you looking for? You can just say, oh, I watched this video and I know exactly what he's looking for. So I'll be doing these weekly breakdowns in my Discord free every single week right before on Sunday evening. Maybe not this late because it's pretty late, but every week you guys will see me break down live exactly what I want the week to do. And then I haven't even gone into, there's so much to go into. I haven't even gone into why certain news delivery times are better than others. So 8:30 is not as good as 10 o'clock or 9:45 or whatever. That's going to have to wait till another video. So that's everything for today. And I'm going to stop the recording here. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.